If I play
This
with
is
the
how dumb.
timings,
No, this is how dumb you
I'm
are.
super smart,
This
man.
is how dumb he
I'm
is.
the first YouTuber, pound for pound, #1 in the world. Yes, here,
He's getting angry.
look at me, man.
I'll whoop both your ass on the same night.
It's gonna be a good fight.
Put both the Chavezes in there. I'll whoop senior and junior.
Trash talk. He was talking to your father and all that. And so I was wondering if you felt disrespected or upset about anything that he said in the press conference.
Yes, a little bit disrespect.
At a recent press event, Jake Paul sparked controversy by boldly claiming he could defeat both Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and his father, Chavez Sr., on the same night. That remark didn't sit well with Chavez Jr., who quickly fired back, reminding Jake that he was already a world champion.
Campeón, dile.
When you were born, I was already a champ.
There's two things you can't beat. There's two things you can't beat. Me and your drug addiction.
Well, Julio, you have had your struggles in recent years.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. responded with confidence, stating that the public is behind him and eager to see Jake Paul finally humbled. He made it clear that fans are fed up with Jake's trash talk and attention-seeking antics, and they're ready for someone to shut him up in the ring.
People say, I like Jake Paul. Oh, hey, Jake Paul. I don't like him. Beat him. Put back him in the internet, YouTube. So I'm feel supported everybody, man.
You think there's any chance this man could beat you?
Not a shot in hell. There's nothing he does that can offset anything I'm gonna do to him. Not a single thing. Cardio, pace, output, jabs, body work, inside fighting, wherever the fight goes, however the fight goes, he's gonna be outworked in every single round.
During a conversation with Ariel Helwani, Chavez Jr. expressed how disrespected he felt by Jake Paul's press conference remarks, especially the ones directed at his father. While he acknowledged that trash talk can help build hype, he felt Jake crossed the line. Julio emphasized that he had always shown Jake respect, but didn't receive any in return. Making this more than just promotion, it felt deeply personal.
To enter to a real boxing, is why he started me, because I'm ex-world champion. So he speak too much trash, and try to sell the fight, but I don't like hear that things, like, I don't know, Jake is good for that, for promote fights and these things, but I really want to find out if it's good in boxing, for real.
So a lot of people who have fought Jake have tried to sort of, as I said, end Jake Paul, like end all of this. They don't like that he's in boxing. Is that a motivation for you to knock him out so that he says, I don't want to do this anymore, so you could be the one to say you got Jake Paul out of fighting?
Yes, so that's, I'm still thinking that I'm better than Jake Paul, so I think after this fight, maybe Jake continue to fight. I don't know, try to be a best boxer, but I don't think he have skilled and everything for win that fight. Yes, I want to end the Jake Paul career. I want to end.
What do you think it will say about you at this stage of your career? 39, you've been fighting for so long, 60 fights, all that stuff. If you beat Jake Paul, what will that say about who Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is right now?
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is entering this fight with a mindset grounded in experience and legacy. Unlike Jake Paul's usual opponents, Julio isn't a crossover athlete or someone returning after a long hiatus. He's a lifelong boxer, trained from a young age with decades of experience in the ring. While Jake thrives on internet fame, Julio represents old school boxing, built on discipline, skill, and serious conditioning. He doesn't just want to win, he wants to show the world what a real boxing life looks like for him This is about more than headlines. It's about earning respect the right way.
You know, for me, like when I lost with Anderson Silva, but I'm out of shape. So these things, like the fight with Silva and a couple other fights, make the UFC fighters or the other people thinking then this guy can beat like a real boxers. So I don't think that is not possible, you know, because when you are a real boxer, you train right. It's different, you know, different sport. You know, you in boxing you need to do in point, to win rounds, and UFC you're only thinking and I don't know, kill the other guy, you know. So it's different. So I'm very excited. I'm training very hard to prove that I'm much better fighter than Jake Paul. So and
when asked at a press conference whether Jake Paul could ever face someone like Canelo Alvarez, Julio Jr. didn't hold back. He said there's a massive gap in skill, and Jake wouldn't stand a chance in a real fight against someone of Canelo's caliber. Julio believes comparing Jake to Canelo is pure hype, not even close to reality, and he considers that kind of talk not only silly, but also insulting to real fighters.
I don't think he have a chance with Canelo.
Obviously, Jake was scheduled to fight Canelo, and then it did fell through. How do you think that fight would have gone? Do you think he would have been in some big trouble?
No, I think he's much better than him, you know. It's not the same level, so that's why I say that my career is different than his career, because I don't think he have a chance.
28, Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Fellow fighter Rolando Rolly Romero also praised Julio's experience, pointing out that Julio has faced more elite fighters than Jake could probably even name. In boxing, that kind of peer respect matters. It reflects the caliber of opposition you faced. Julio has competed in high-pressure title fights against legitimate talent. For him, this isn't just another match. It's part of his long boxing journey. Rolly's remarks underscore just how vast the experience gap is between Julio and Jake.
He's fighting a legend's son.
Real deals. How do you think he does?
Who's been in the ring with a bunch of other legends. I mean, Chavez fought Canelo. He fought a bunch of people.
People got to see more, you know. People don't want to give it to him, just coming where he's come from.
Yeah.
But if other boxers co-sign him as a real fighter, that's a good testament. That's a good sign.
Bro, he's fighting Chavez Jr. I don't care.
Yeah.
But he's fighting a real fighter. He's fighting a legend's son.
Real deals. How do you think he does?
Who's been in the ring with a bunch of other legends. I mean, Chavez fought Canelo. He fought a bunch of people.
But how do you think Jake does in that fight?
Where's the fight at? Cruiser?
No idea. 65? What?
I don't even know. I don't pay attention to it, to be honest with you.
I don't think Jake Paul can make 65 ever. So.
Nah, hell no. Jake Paul is like a good 220 pounds naturally.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
165.
How tall is he?
Jake Paul trains hard, bro. He's a very intelligent person. You guys think he's a fucking bimbo? He's very fucking intelligent.
Yeah, he's definitely a beast, and he's definitely a monster with marketing.
No, not even the marketing, bro. He's a very intelligent person.
Yeah. You could tell.
Boxing legend and promoter Oscar De La Hoya has shown genuine interest in this bout, largely because it marks Jake's first time facing a truly seasoned professional. Julio's background brings the level of seriousness fans have long awaited. De La Hoya isn't just excited about the spectacle. He sees this fight as Jake's first true step into the world of real boxing. With Julio's skills and record, the stakes are significantly higher. This is no longer internet fame versus retired athletes. This is legitimate boxing versus online hype.
When you say that, what does that mean to you to protect the sport?
Well, for me, I feel like I'm the only one doing it. Everyone else is just trying to gatekeep or say that they're doing things for the sport or something is bad for boxing, but I'm the greatest thing to happen to boxing since Muhammad Ali, and there's no even debating that. And what I've done speaks for itself. No other fighter is building gyms, getting boxing gloves into the hands of kids, throwing multiple events a year, donating my whole entire purse back into my own charity when I fought in Puerto Rico, taking women from getting paid $1,000 to 5, 6, 7 million, breaking Netflix records, shutting down the site, 128 million global viewers. The list goes on, and I've done this in only 12 fights, where Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Marvin Hagler, like, you can name any of these people, fought nobodies for their first 15 to 20 fights, and no one even knew who they were. And so my career has been different, heavily criticized from the start, but that's the mark and the sign of someone who's a disruptor and someone who's changing the game.
Some fans and critics have questioned Julio's age, suggesting he may be past his prime. But that assessment overlooks key facts. Julio has never stepped away from the sport or taken long breaks. He has remained in shape, stayed active in training, and continued living the life of a fighter, unlike Jake's previous opponents, many of whom came from other sports or were inactive. Julio is still sharp and deeply immersed in the boxing world.
And I'm really excited because the only reason I got involved with this is because he's fighting a real fighter now. Julio Cesar Chavez went 12 rounds with Canelo. He is an ex-world champion in boxing. So this is a real legit fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm obviously questioning what Chavez Jr. will we see. Will he be in great shape? Will he not be in shape? Will he make weight? Will he do a lot of questions behind it? But ultimately, you have to tell yourself, Jake Paul, congratulations. This is a real first legitimate world champion fighter you're fighting.
There has always been skepticism surrounding Jake's fights. His match with Mike Tyson led to rumors that it was more about entertainment than competition. Now, his bout with Julio is drawing similar attention. Some fans suspect it's more of a money-making spectacle than a genuine contest. While there's no concrete evidence to support those claims, Jake's pattern of facing older or unconventional opponents keeps the rumors alive. Regardless, both fighters have their reputations on the line, and the world will be watching closely.
Word on the grapevine is that Jake Paul will be fighting Juliocesarchavezjr Jr. in his upcoming fight. That is apparently going to be announced very, very soon. Now, this is actually quite a interesting one, really. Jake's going to get a lot of stick for this. It is another retired fighter. However, this is a guy that realistically has only been retired for about 4 years. He also isn't a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. Chavez Jr. is only 39 years old. The last notable fight realistically for Chavez Jr. was Danny Jacobs. That was back at the back end of 2019. So you could say that realistically the guy hasn't been fighting top competitors for about 5.5 years or so. The thing that does worry me just a little bit is that Chavez Jr. was pretty much fighting at middleweight during his, let's say, prime. And no doubt that this fight will be at cruiserweight, if not heavyweight. So good on Jake Paul for fighting someone who is semi-recently retired this time, and is actually a boxer and not an MMA fighter. But again, shame on Jake Paul for fighting someone who is considerably smaller and will likely want them to balloon up to cruiserweight. Maybe even heavyweight if Jake's sticking at this thing of he's a heavyweight now. Let me know in the comments, will you watch this if it's on Netflix and it doesn't cost any more money like the Mike Tyson fight did? Are you interested? Should Jake Paul be taking on more active professional boxers nowadays, you know, not someone who has been retired for 4 or 5 years? I'm interested to know your opinions. Also, will this fight actually get made? Let me know in the comments. As always, like, favourite, save and a share, all appreciated. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything boxing, hit that follow button. Peace out.
Jake is entering this bout with full confidence in his training and personal journey. He sees this fight as the moment to prove he truly belongs in boxing. At the same time, he views it as a test for Julio to see if he can still compete in today's fight scene. Jake's belief in himself energizes his fan base and fuels the hype. One factor giving him extra confidence is his win over Anderson Silva, who once defeated Julio. But boxing isn't simple math. One win doesn't automatically translate into another. Still, that mental edge strengthens Jake's mindset. Confidence is crucial, especially when your opponent hears your words echoed in the media. Whether Jake can back it up in the ring remains to be seen.
You can't make this shit up. Guys, Jake Paul fights this weekend at the same time as UFC 317. And don't be shocked, but it's another scam. This time it's against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who's 39 years old, hasn't fought in a year, and lost a boxing match to Anderson Silva, who's not even a fucking boxer and 50 years old. You guys have to know the drill by now. Take Jake Paul, minus 650. Throw him in parlays. Take him straight. Lay the line. He's not losing. This shit's hilarious. A flat out joke. A disgrace. But free cash is free cash. I'm not watching a second of this fight. A second. I'm just gonna watch my bets turn green and get paid out. Do yourself a favor and get paid out too. Jake Paul, minus 650. Free as the air you breathe.
Jake's fight with Mike Tyson felt more like a spectacle than a serious test. Tyson hadn't fought in years, which gave Jake a clear advantage. But Julio poses a very different kind of threat. He's not only younger than Tyson, but also faster, more active, and in tune with the modern pace of boxing. Julio isn't just a legendary name. He's a real and dangerous opponent.
What do you think about when you see some of these matches? Like they just said, didn't they just have Jake Paul was gonna fight
Tyson?
What do you think about that shit, man?
It's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's fucking dumb, I think.
Like, well, what are you expecting? What do you think the outcome's gonna be?
Well, I think
because I thought that Jake Paul would have lost by now, even fighting these guys at some stage, but he keeps winning. Like, I know that they're not like in their prime or whatever, but the whole background was fighting.
That's a good point.
And he keeps like somehow pulling it out. Like if he pulls this one out, I don't care how old Mike Tyson gets. I'm not even fighting that guy until because he actually sat down on my show. He's fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Like I felt I would not fight, even if he's 70 years old. I'm not fighting him.
What, he just felt like he had that danger in him?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
well, I asked him, what would you be if you weren't a boxer? He said, a fucking criminal, like stone cold my eyes.
Damn,
and I'm like, okay, nice.
Jake Paul continues to polarize the boxing community. His fans love the showmanship and disruption he brings, but traditionalists remain skeptical of his motives. Too many. Jake's journey feels more like a reality TV saga than a legitimate boxing career. Facing Julio, however, gives him a chance to shift that narrative. If Jake performs well, he might finally win over some of his harshest critics. But if it ends up looking like just another publicity stunt, the backlash will only intensify.
Jake Paul just went against Anderson Silva last night, and it was crazy. They was going back and forth. In the 8th round, Jake Paul dropped Anderson Silva. It was a crazy back and forth war, but I feel that's what gave him the dub. Jake Paul walks away with a unanimous decision victory. The judges scored the scorecard 77-74, 78-73, and 78-73. Jake Paul advances to 6-0 in his professional boxing career. This was insane. He then goes on to call out Nate Diaz. What do you think is going to happen with that? It's crazy with this. Everybody and their mom was doubting Jake Paul back and forth. But now, when he beats Anderson Silva, what do you think he's going to do to Nate Diaz? No disrespect, but he's a much younger fighter. He's getting better every day, every night. And who knows? He might walk away with a W. Tune in next time.
My final What's That Smell goes to Jake friggin' Paul. Yes, as he's gearing up for his upcoming fight against Julio-Cesar Jr., a guy that can't win a fight, hasn't won a fight in the last 10 years. The guy's been an absolute joke. Well, Jake comes out and says, hey, listen, I'm getting in the ring with a champion at one point. I'm getting in the ring with a guy that was on top of the world at one point. All Jake Paul is selling is at one point, because Julio-Cesar Jr. hasn't won in more than 10 years of those points. What are you trying to sell? Here's what I think he's trying to sell. He's trying to sell a fight that means nothing. Jake Paul, he's great on the HBO special thing, the documentary that he has, The Polls. He's great at everything he touches when it comes to marketing. Stop trying to sell something that doesn't exist. You will never get into a ring with a real boxer, because if you do, you're going to get your